Okay, I'm just going to let everybody know we are waiting on Trustee Baum. He is stuck in traffic. Trustee Peeper will be on WebEx. When they're both here, then we will start the meeting. In order to have a quorum.
Trustee Peeper, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. I would just make a meeting that you've established quorum, that Trustee Peeper is on WebEx, and that you have Trustee Baum on the phone, and that you may now begin your meeting.
All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. This meeting has been given public notice in accordance with Section 19.83 and 19.84 Wisconsin statutes in such form that will apprise the general public and news media of subject matter that is intended for consideration and action. We do have a quorum for roll call. Trustee Boris is absent excused tonight. Trustee Peeper and Trustee Baum are both online, and Trustee Baum is en route, so he'll be here shortly. We are going to begin with citizen input. Please be advised per 19.842 that information and comment will be received from the public. It is the policy of this municipality that public input be limited to a 4-minute period per person, with a time extension granted at the discretion of the chairperson. Be advised that there may be limited discussion of the information received, but no action will be taken under public comments. Comments that may be injurious to village personnel or other individuals will not be allowed. Is there anyone that wishes to come forward for public comment?
Can you hear okay, Trustee Baum?
Yes, okay.
Alrighty, Melanie Smythe, N140 W17938 Cedar Lane. And I'm just going to provide some information this evening. I was reading the packet for today's meeting, and I saw that the EMS fire matter that came up on the agenda, and as I was reading it, it was referring to a report, and I tried looking for that report on Washington County's website, couldn't find it, ended up talking to the chair, Chief Public Safety guy, David Seeger, and he explained that this is not like the dispatch, that this is more like the structural setup of municipalities with fire and EMS would remain as is, but it's more of a taxation thing where the county would take on raising the taxes because their structure is not limited by the levy caps in the same way that municipalities are, and that therefore we would need to adjust our referendum dollar amount that are being taxed if this were to go forward, because we in effect would be double taxed if the county were to take on the taxes being raised, and we already have this referendum in place. So some kind of an adjustment would be made. We talked about some other things as well, but they are apparently looking into what this might physically look like from a numbers standpoint. And there won't be any public information until January or February. It'll all be internally reviewed once they get numbers from all the municipalities. So I just wanted to provide that information because I know that there were some concerns that for various people that this might be a repeat of dispatch being merged with the county, but at this point, that's not what's being described. And I'm sure our chief of fire here we'll have some more information about this as he and Mr. Krecklow have been participating in these meetings. So anyway, I just wanted to provide that. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for coming forward. Is there anyone else that wishes to come forward for public comments?
Scott Heffley, W159 and 10514 Old Farm Road. Just a couple consideration comments tonight. I did review the fire incident report for 2025. Based on the report submitted, there's a 65% increase for overall, including fire and EMS and everything in the village. That's a huge increase. It also had EMS up 82%. I saw 1,163 year-to-date 2025 versus 663 2024. I don't know if I was looking at the right report, but it says up 82% on the breakdown. That means that we're very busy. We're doing a lot. And I'm guessing it's over in the hot zone district where it always is. That's what I'm guessing. So a couple other considerations on the lateral transfers for police. Whenever we have stuff like this coming forward, to be honest, it kind of drives me crazy that we just never take a stab at like what would the effect be on the budget, or what would the economic effect be on the department budget or anything. So, you know, if we do this lateral transfer thing where we give latitude to the chief to, you know, bring in people and, you know, have their vacation accrue like what they came in with, there has to be a cost associated with that. And I think it'd be important for us to know what it is, even if it's not perfect, even if it's just a ballpark, to know how that affects the budget. Because if we do that, then that's going to be going forward for basically forever. We probably won't ever change it. So I just wish that we would, when we do things like that, what could affect the budget for them or for the village or for the taxpayers, that we would just say, what do you think might be the impact based on what we have, because in my opinion, and I don't know a lot about all this stuff, but if I was coming here from another municipality, maybe a congested one right down the road from us, I'd sure be happy to be in Germantown over maybe some of the other places I've worked. So we got to think of ourselves as a destination, and I know pay is important, but what is the cost of that? I was surprised, even being on the K-9 board, that I didn't know that the K-9 handler didn't have a take-home squad that they were given with, you know, that's what it said in the report, that now they'd have one. I thought they had one if they're on duty, or, you know, for better response times for the K-9. So are we saying now that we have extra squads that we're getting in the budget that we can fix that? Because certainly that would be nice to see. I think they deserve it if they're taking care of the dog. Last 2 points. I read this, and probably our attorney Brian can speak to it better, but the village full faith and credit letter, I'm assuming that's in regards to the flock cameras. But when I was reading the resolution, it said the village board can levy an irrepealable tax for capital lease payments. That means you can't repeal it and you can't change it. It's there forever. So I understand that flock cameras are important. I know that we use them and we do keep up to date on them, but for the village board to consider a levy that permanently charges the taxpayers, I think that should be built in the budget. Like bulletproof vests are, like guns are, like ammo is. It should be built into the budget for those departments. It shouldn't be put on the taxpayers if we can't get, you know, it's got to be built in the budget. And I know there's donations that have been going on for years and it doesn't cover the whole amount because they've gotten expensive, but build it into the budget as part of the public safety funding, not another tax in writing that's irrepealable. It goes on forever, because then it kind of cheapens the safety referendum we did, that everybody agreed to tax themselves more on. And then that countrywide EMS, Melanie obviously got some information not in the packet. Again, how is it determined, you know, what a fair share is for everybody? You know, we have a fully funded fire and police departments. The town of Polk does not. Some of these other smaller communities, townships do not. Volunteer most places. I feel like they get a huge benefit and we're paying for it. So maybe I'm wrong. There's information I'm sure upcoming to clarify that. But as a taxpayer, like all of us are, for us to be subsidizing other departments at an extra level, I think is crazy. We're taking care of our public safety, and I think the county should not meddle in that and start thinking that they know better what's for us and just raise our taxes because they think that that's what's needed. So hopefully more information on that. Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak?
The only thing I'm going to say tonight, not everybody's here, but this week was a busy week for me and I had to go to the dump and dump leaves. And every time I go somewhere around here, I talk to the people who live here, okay? And there's a lot of people like me out there and I think everything you talk about at all these meetings are money. We're going to spend money for this. We're going to do this for somebody else. A young couple that was at our Thanksgiving meeting are very well off, and he said, I will not buy a house in Germantown. That's the second one already. He said, they're crazy there with their taxes. And this is what's coming from the public. The lady at the dump said, what's wrong with your administrator there that he's giving people all this money? People are upset. We have got to start getting smart with our money and say, no. We can't do it. The taxpayers can't afford it. We got 21,000 people here and that's it. And everything can't go on the backs of those people. It's ridiculous. I hate to use that word, but it is. We need some smart financial minds that can start saying no to some of this stuff and think about us, the taxpayers that are footing this bill. Thank you.
Thank you for coming forward. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to come forward? I have one email to read into the public comments. And this is from the Schneiders, Bill and Carol. Hello, we believe you should have a major discussion on countywide EMTs. We most likely would support this. If it would help keep taxes down and having to buy new equipment and build a new firehouse in about 3 years, plus adding more staff and pay and benefits. It was said recently after the remodeling of the current firehouse is done, they will be back in about 3 years for a fire department headquarter firehouse. The big question should be, where do you think all the money is coming from to build, house, and supply all the equipments for the demands of the public safety departments? Don't forget the wages and benefits too. The taxpayers? Do you think the residents can keep on affording all your demands? Look at what happens with the referendum. They said they could make it work. Their words, not our words. The village did this with the dispatch. Yes, we have $300,000 for 1 year. Where was the $300,000 in savings? What was it used for? Then what happened? Needed more staff. So was it really a savings? We really don't know. Also, is the dispatching working well for the village? Don't know. We should have monthly updates on this in public safety meetings, along with monthly updates on the calls to the old flower source too, until the eyesore is totally demo. Please, it needs to be done now, not push back again. Yes, we know it is on VB meeting for tonight, but you can voice your opinions at that meeting too. Is anyone living in the buildings again? We should not have to ask for these updates either. It should be part of their monthly meetings. Please look into the North Shore Fire Department and now West Allis and Tosa too. North Shore has been doing it for a while. Seems to be working for them. West Allis and Tosa are working on it right now. You can't keep on asking for the taxpayers for more money. Remember, a lot of the residents are retired and are on Social Security. Don't forget they don't get large increases like some village employees. You need to find a way of making cuts, not keep on adding on. The Schneiders. Okay. So one last call. Are there any comments or anyone on WebEx? Okay, then we will move forward to item 4, meeting minutes from November
Motion.
3rd, 2025.
Motion to approve meeting minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None opposed, motion passes.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we deviate from the agenda and discuss what needs to be addressed tonight because we are not going to get through this entire agenda tonight. So
Trustee Baum, I was about to make a motion to move reports to the end of the agenda so we can get started on new business, if you're okay with that.
is that the only thing we need to take out of sequence?
I would say
Yes.
then we could at least get to the meat.
Yeah, I don't know if there's something that has to be addressed. I was going to ask the chiefs, is there something on this agenda that we got to do tonight? Or is it If we get to it, we get to
I
it.
think if we move reports to the end, we'll be able to make it through.
Licensing and squad purchases have to be done tonight. Okay, we will make sure we get to those, but I recommend that, I would make a motion to, well, trustee Peeper made the first motion, so let's deal with that one first.
I make a
Okay.
motion to move reports to the end of the agenda and start working on new business.
Second,
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries.
I will make another motion to, make sure that we deal with items, A, B.
Don't
and
crash.
What's the cars?
F.
F, A, B, and F first.
We'll get there, I promise.
I don't think so. Let's
Okay,
just do those
second.
first and be done with it.
All right, any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None, motion carries. We will begin with new business item A, renewal applications for an animal fanciers permit for, do we do each one individually? Okay, the first one is for applicant Maureen Shaughnessy, and this is an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second,
Any discussion?
Yes, Chief Merton, any issues with all three of these?
No major issues with any of them.
Okay,
Anything else for discussion?
nope.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. Then we go on to applicant number 2, Becky Rao.
motion to
action item.
approve as presented.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None, motion carries. Move on to number 3, applicant Mary Best.
Motion to approve as presented.
second,
Any discussion?
nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. Move on to new business item B, renewal applications of secondhand jewelry dealer and secondhand article dealer licenses for 2026. The first is Kessler's Diamond Center Incorporated, secondhand jewelry and secondhand article dealer, and this is action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second,
Any discussion?
Chief, is there any issues with any of these?
No,
None of them? Okay,
none of them.
more.
No more? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. Number 2, National Rarities LLC, secondhand jewelry dealer and secondhand article dealer, and action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. Number 3, Eco ATM LLC, secondhand article dealer inside Walmart at W190 and 9855 Appleton Avenue, and it's an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
second,
Any discussion? None, all those in favor? None opposed? Motion carries. And then we move on to item F, request to order and purchase of squad cars for 2026 budget year, and it's an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
second,
Okay, discussion? Anybody have questions for the chief?
We budgeted for this. We've discussed this. This was already discussed, and I mean, I put you through the ringer through the budget, so I know this is needed. This is where it's coming from.
no further,
No, the reason for the request is because the deadline for ordering is the end of the year.
Yep.
Yeah, once, then it goes to the village board, and once that's approved, then probably March or April receive them.
Got it.
Any more discussion or questions?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. And we'll go back to item C, 2025 Fire Department Budget Amendment to account for grant proceeds.
That was a money.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
So since that, I was going to state for
Yep,
the record,
money.
since that was, yes, thank you, trustee Peeper. Yeah, glad you can hear us well. So trustee Bum,
Aye.
trustee Peeper,
Aye.
trustee Cutts,
Aye. Now we will move on to C, 2025 Fire Department Budget Amendment to account for grant proceeds that offset previously unbudgeted expenditures, and it's an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
Chief Delane, this is literally just an administrative thing that needs to be done. You received grant money and it offsets the budget, so we just need to approve it, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
It is in the amount of, how much? $75,000, 74,000, or is it the 10,000?
Hold on 1 second.
74,848, 50.52.
Okay, is there any other
Correct.
discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carries. Move on to item D, 2025 Fire Department Budget Amendment to account for county grant proceeds that offset previously unbudgeted expenditures, and this is an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
Once again, Chief Delane, same thing as the previous item?
That's correct.
Yep.
And this is in the value of $177,000. $77,000 for one bank of overtime and $100,000 for the second bank of overtime.
Correct.
Okay.
I just have one question. Donna, did we previously need to vote on the previous agenda item because it had to do with money? Did we have to do roll call for that and roll call for this one?
Yes, I was. Yes, based on the amendments to the budget, we should be doing roll call, and I was getting ready to do that after this, so thank you very much. So for item E, we're going to do a roll call as opposed to voice, and that was for the departmental budget to account for insurance proceeds. Trustee Baum,
Aye.
We didn't do that one yet. We're on D.
We're,
we did E.
Yeah,
We
I'm
just-
saying
we're
on
previously we
D.
had to do roll call.
We're doing D right now.
We're doing D right now, and we previously did E.
we're,
Because we didn't do roll
Did
call,
C and
trustee
D.
cuts.
okay. I'm voting for D right now.
Okay, let's do D. D is the one that is currently on for the 2025 Fire Department Budget Amendment to the account for county grant proceeds.
$177,000.
Mhm.
Yes.
Aye.
Trustee Peeper,
Aye.
as presented.
Aye.
Okay, trustee Cutts, thank you. And now we'll move on to the D as in Donna, the 2025 Fire Department Budget Amendment to account for county grant proceeds that offset previously unbudgeted expenditures. Trustee Baum,
Aye.
trustee Peeper,
Aye.
chair trustee Cutts.
Aye. Now we are on item E, 2025 Police Department Budget Amendment to account for insurance proceeds that offset previously unbudgeted expenditures, and it's an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Any discussion?
Confirmation, this is $91,030.52. Okay.
We'll do a roll call vote on that as well.
Mhm.
Roll call vote for trustee Baum,
Aye.
trustee Peeper,
Aye.
trustee and chair Cutts.
Aye.
Okay. I gotta make sure, we did vote for C, Charlie. I thought we didn't do a roll call vote on that one. Did we do a roll call vote on that one?
You did not do C because you went to A, B, and F and D.
And now we're coming back and we did C first, because I asked if that was $74,848. And I got confirmation on that number, but I don't think we did a roll call vote on that.
There is in fact not.
Okay, I would like to go back to item C and do the roll call vote. I'll
If
make
that's a motion, I second it.
Okay,
Trustee Baum,
aye.
trustee Peeper,
Aye.
trustee and chair Cutts.
Aye.
Okay. Did D, we did E. We already did F.
Yes, we're on G.
Okay,
G is in girl.
All
okay.
right, we're on item G, update of police officer lateral transfer side agreement with GPPA, and it's an action item.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second,
Okay, Chief, do you have some information on this?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
Yes, we did have a lateral transfer process already set in place. However, there was some verbiage that needed to be changed with the new union contract. The old association needed to be replaced with the GPPA. Also appendix, you used to say appendix B, where it's appendix A now for the wage scale. The vacation accrual, that was always in there. The wording was kind of vague. Anybody that came in with 7+ years, the chief had the right to give them 16 days of vacation. The wording that was not in there is where they start from at the village. So if they come in with 8 years, they would get 16 days of vacation, but they would continue from 8 years on instead of going back to 0 and then working another 7 years, or actually 12 years to get up to the 20 days.
Yeah, I
So that was-
completely
that was-
understand this. So it's accruing from where they were hired at rather than you giving them a bulk of vacation days and then a year goes by and then they start back from 0.
Correct. Their
Right.
accrual would start with the years of prior
Yeah.
they had coming in. So, excuse me, if they had 7 years coming in, they would start with 7 years here and go on from there. It was continuous years. So if they worked 7 years in an agency, they took a year off, and then they maybe worked 2 years at a previous agency, those other 2 years would not count. It would just be
Okay.
continuous time. So from
Sure.
the last 7 years that they worked would just be counted. It's not any breaks in that time would not be counted.
I highly support this because I think this would get some tenured officers to join our force. It'd be it's more of a valuable package for officers to apply for. So absolutely in support of this.
Trustee Baum?
and for those who are gonna say we are wasting village money by giving these people the 17 days, 16 days, the rationale would be if we didn't give them the 16 days, they wouldn't come and work for us.
Correct. And it's not so much agencies to the south. We've had individuals come from all agencies from the southwest area of Waukesha County, from the north, from Ozaki, and they've come in with over 7 years of experience. We gain that experience by not having to train somebody and putting somebody on the road knowing that they have the confidence instead of them having to build that up for the next how many years. It's kind of a reward for them coming here.
Yep.
And it basically is more advantageous for our hiring pool
And
for
if
people
you
to come
were
in.
to start them back at 0, you would deter them from joining our force.
Correct. We've had a couple that have turned it down based on their
Yeah.
old verbiage.
Okay, thank you.
This is very needed.
Yes,
Very needed because nobody's going to transfer to Germantown and get hired because when you had 5 weeks of vacation, all of a sudden you're down to 2 weeks starting out. Nobody's going to do that. No one. And that is why we have such a lack of experienced officers applying for positions here.
exactly the point I'm trying to make. Thank you. We're having a discussion whether we need to do a roll call vote or not.
Do we need a roll call vote for this?
Let's just do it anyway.
It'll be a board decision, so we don't need a roll call vote here.
But even it'll get passed if we don't do a roll call vote, but we still do a roll call, then it ensures it's going to make its way on.
Sorry, the ending wasn't very clear.
Do you want us to do a
If
roll
we-
call vote or not?
Let's just do a roll call just to be careful. Say, Jack, we'll just do a
Fine.
roll call just in case.
Fine, let's do a roll call vote.
Correct. I mean, under Robert's rules, you can always do a roll call vote, even if it's not required. So
Okay.
Trustee Baum,
Aye.
trustee Peeper,
I
trustee Chair Cutts,
Aye. Then we'll move on to a new item H, update of K-9 side letter agreement with GPPA, and that's an action item also. And Chief, just if you have a little information on this?
Yes, we had a side agreement for the K-9 previously, dating back to 2004. All it is cleaning up the verbiage and putting it in a nicer format. Nothing has changed except for the GPPA now, the union's new name. Otherwise, everything else stayed as the same as in the other side agreement. The one other thing is we added also for the canine handlers, we have two dual purpose dogs and one therapy dog. Just putting that in there as the verbiage. The therapy dog does not have a take home car. The two dual purpose dogs do.
motion to approve as presented.
Second,
Any discussion or questions?
no, Chief, pretty well explained it.
Okay, do a roll call vote again, please.
trustee Baum,
Aye.
trustee Peeper,
I
trustee Cutts,
Aye. Move on to new item I, renewal of flock camera 5-year contract, and this is an action item.
I'll make a motion to approve for discussion, and then I have some questions.
Second,
Okay, trustee Peeper, your questions?
Chief Merton, what does this do to our budget? Is the renewal adding any budgetary increase whatsoever?
I would defer that question to Mr. Uselding. The reason we did go with the 5-year contract was because to lock in the price. If you recall,
So-
many years ago, as far as the flock cameras went, it was presented as donations would fund the entire project. As of late, we only received $7,500 this year to fund them. We worked with Flock. Flock took the $7,500 for the contract through the remainder of this year to pay it off. This would start January 1st and moving on for the next 5 years.
January 1st, 2026.
Correct.
And just
And
answer,
Matthew, do we have this budgeted?
correct, this is included in the 2026 budget with levy support. The plan is to levy for it in 2026 with the anticipation that we'll work to get donations to cover that cost and not levy for it in future years.
I have a problem levying for it. I think we need to go to the businesses that it's used for most. We need to hit up Walmart and hit them hard again for it. I do not think that we should be paying for this. We are literally keeping the businesses in Germantown safe by using these. I think there should be further negotiations. I know we're getting close to January 1st, but I think we really need to put some pressure on local businesses to cover this cost.
We do receive donations from Walmart for one camera. The problem we're having.
Perhaps ask them for donations for 2 or 3.
We could, and that's something that we're going to work on in the coming years to get out to more businesses for donations. As you can see that, I mean, they've solved a lot of incidents for us. Homicide suspect came through Germantown. We got off of that. Sexual assault warrants, along with alerts that we get from other agencies for suspicious vehicles involved in retail thefts. Fleet Farm and
So-
Walmart are working with, Flock has 2 separate entities. One is for the public side and the other is for the private. Fleet Farm recently, don't quote me, but they've put up 2 cameras that they purchased from Flock themselves. The problem with the private companies buying the cameras is they have to give the police agencies access to the cameras. Some of them do not want to do that based on publicity if we're always there for stuff. So that's something we're working on right now with Fleet Farm and Walmart.
So what is the actual cost that is going to be put on the levy?
$33,500.
Correct.
Yeah,
And that
I-
was approved as part of the 2026 budget. The goal
Mhm.
and the plan is to take that off the levy in future years once we secure the donations in 2026.
So not in future years, but this coming year. So while we would approve this now, we are hoping to get reimbursed for this expense, correct?
I wouldn't say reimbursed for 2026. We're hoping the donations we receive in 2026 cover the cost in 2027, so we do not have to levy for it in 2027.
I struggle with this one. I'm sorry. I'm not for borrowing money that or increasing the levy uh, for this cost when it was covered in previous years. Did we try Washington County to get them to cover some?
They will not.
They said no.
They've been talking with Flock also to get cameras themselves. And they don't, the other jurisdictions around us all pay for the cameras themselves. Jackson, Hartford, West Bend, they all pay for the cameras themselves. They don't rely on
Yeah, but
Washington County.
we're more on the gateway. So I think a call is due to Mr. Showman. This is a huge expense that I'm not comfortable approving right now. Baum, please chime in.
I agree with you 100%, but the fact that we have 30 days until this is being dealt with, the budget goes into effect. I am accepting of paying for it out of tax dollars right now, but I would recommend that our staff go and hit the businesses hard that are causing us the greatest amount of time with crime to encourage them to donate to the cause that is benefiting them more so than the general resident of our community.
So what about Target? What about Kohl's? What about any of the other businesses on that main stretch?
You really got to talk.
And what about
Germantown
Menominee
businesses.
Falls? We're at the major parts where the flock cameras are needed is it butts up to Menominee Falls. So is Menominee Falls, do they get access to those flock cameras on County Line?
Menominee Falls does have Flock cameras on County Line also, along
So
with
then
other
why
areas
are
in there.
why are we duplicating flock cameras when we can share access to them?
They aim in different directions as far as getting traffic either going east or west, or north and south. The cameras can't cover entire stretch of County Line. So some cameras will get them coming westbound on Q from 41. Some will get them going eastbound. Some will get them turning south on the Rivercrest. Some will get them turning south on Falls Parkway. They're all different directions and they point different directions. The cameras we have will only cover 2 lanes. We can't cover the entire stretch of Highway Q.
So does flock have 360-degree flock cameras?
Not that I know of.
I think that should be something that could be looked into and perhaps share the cost with Menominee Falls, since half of it's in their jurisdiction and half of it's in ours. I
Well, it
think
sounds like-
also, since it's on a county road, that the county should be kicking in some as well. We are the gateway and we are keeping our county safe. They should be kicking in some funds for that.
And that's where I think the staff needs to go and talk to these people a little more vigorously. But Menominee Falls is paying for a portion of them. We are
Wha-
currently paying for a portion of them. Can we get businesses to step up? That is what I would recommend. Can we get the county to step in? Yes, we are the gateway.
So I would rather withdraw my motion and make a new motion.
Okay, I will withdraw my second to hear your motion.
Okay. I make a motion to approve this item after we petition Menominee Falls and the county to help pay for these costs and see which services can be combined.
I would not second that with Menominee Falls in there.
Okay, well,
Menominee Falls is already paying for half the cameras on their half the road.
so then let's upgrade the cameras to 360 degrees. It's a camera. It's the software that we're really paying for, not the camera.
I think that would take too much time to research if that's even a possibility if we want to get this done for 2026.
And I would imagine the 360-degree cameras are a lot more than $3,000. I know when they talked about doing the interstate, covering all 3 lanes, they were upwards to $400 to $4,500 a piece for the cameras.
And how much are they a year to maintain?
I believe 3,000.
And how often do they have to be replaced? What's their life cycle?
They replace them if they're damaged.
So a
with the
life cycle.
contract.
Okay, so there'd be one upfront cost and then just the 3,000 a year to maintain. That to me is a savings because you're paying the one-time upfront cost. Then it's easier to do the $3,000 a year or whatever. We already raised taxes for our citizens, and I understand that these flock cameras are important, but I think there are several things that need to be looked into. I think we need to have more discussions with Menominee Falls and the county. Sorry, Baum, you can go ahead and make a motion, but that's where I'm at.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second. Is there any further discussion?
I'll make an amendment to it that staff needs to go work with these businesses and the county to try
Yeah,
and get,
Menominee Falls.
no, I'm not bringing Menominee Falls into it. Staff needs to work with the businesses of Germantown and the county to try and get more donations to cover this for 2026 as part of this agreement.
I'll second the amendment. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Move on to new business item J, an ordinance to amend section 9.01 of the Germantown Municipal Code related to offenses against state laws subject to forfeiture, and this is an action item.
Point of order, we did not vote, we voted on the amendment, not the actual motion.
Oh, sorry. And I believe we need to do a roll call vote for the
Spending of the money.
spending of the money.
Trustee Baum,
Aye.
trustee Peeper,
No.
trustee Ketz,
Aye. Go back to item J, ordinance amends section 9.01 of Germantown Municipal Code related to offenses against state laws subject to forfeiture action item. Is this a Brian or who's doing this one?
which one did we just do the roll call vote?
On the block camera on.
Sorry, was discombobulated with the order of everything. The proposed ordinance before you this evening is pretty simple. All it does is just update some places where we incorporate state statutory references in our municipal code so that they reflect things appropriately. So for example, right now, we can't issue a battery ticket because the statute changed, and the section that we adopt by number as the battery section now is not the battery section, it's something else. And so we don't actually adopt battery under our code, and so the officers are not able to issue the tickets as a result. So all this does is just updates and corrects all of those references.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll
Second.
second. Trustee Peeper seconded. All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? None. Motion carries. And we are on K, discussion on county proposal for a countywide EMS system. And this is a discussion item.
Thank you. And Chief Delane can jump in at any point if he's got some other information to add. The Washington County Board in a recent meeting passed a resolution authorizing staff to begin the planning and creation of a countywide EMS system in partnership with the municipalities within Washington County. And this is under a change in state statute that took place as part of Act 12 last year, which created greater funding flexibility for counties when a countywide EMS system was established. So the resolution I just mentioned also indicated commitment towards working collaboratively with the municipalities on planning of the governance, the financial structure, and the operational structures that would be necessary. There's 3 working groups that have been involved in this for a period of time. The group that's been working the most on it, the longest, has been the chiefs, all of the fire chiefs from Washington County. There's also a meeting that's convened of the chief elected officials from each municipality within Washington County, and then the county executive, and then the administrators from the cities, villages, and towns within the county have been meeting. A couple of the key points. First of all, it's very early in the process on this. There's not a lot of details that have been fleshed out, but what I can say with some certainty is that the focus on changes initially are focusing on the financial structures, the financing of EMS services, which have created budgetary challenges, not only for Germantown, but for other municipalities and fire operations within Washington County. There's an emphasis on maintaining local control. No one is interested as part of this process of taking away control from the municipalities on the level of service, the way service is provided, the types of operations. There would still be a Germantown Fire Department with Germantown equipment and Germantown staff. One of the models that's been discussed as a way to think about the way this could work going forward is the library system with the county, where the county collects money on a countywide basis, and then that funding is distributed back to the libraries to support their operations. I think longer term, there's also a hope or a desire for more operational efficiencies that could be achieved. I think there's more challenges and more issues that need to be worked through to actually make those operational efficiencies come to fruition. But I think over a longer period of time, there's opportunities for that as well, and that would be a longer term part of this initiative. So at this point, And I don't know enough about the specifics to be able to make a recommendation to this committee or the board on whether this is a good idea or not. I've been participating in all of the meetings with the administrators to try to learn more about it, to try to make the proposal as positive as possible, but it's early in the process at this point.
I'll make a motion to table this until next meeting, once we can get further information and everybody's had a chance to digest it further. There's
Second.
not enough information here for me to make a vote on this.
Well, we're not voting, it's just discussion.
I don't have enough information to even talk about it.
Chief Delane?
So just some historical context, this actually started by the county chiefs about 2 years ago. The county chiefs went to the county board saying that the fire departments in the county need help. There are 13 fire departments in the county. The only municipal departments in the county are Ridgefield, Germantown, Hartford, Jackson, and West Bend. The rest of them are private volunteer fire companies. These are people who literally are flipping burgers to put diesel fuel in their trucks. With townships and villages growing and cities growing, some of these fire departments protect areas that are unincorporated, and they lose land that they're protecting. As they lose land, they're losing money because they're not getting paid as much for that because they're not covering as much area anymore. And ultimately, what started happening is the townships were going to each individual fire department and asking for bids. So fire departments had to start bidding against each other in the counties as well. And quite honestly, this actually started in Germantown, 2006, 2005. The Germantown Village Board asked the town of Germantown to contribute more money for capital purchases. The town said no, and went out for bid. Ultimately, they left the Germantown Fire Department and went to the Ridgefield Fire Department. When Ridgefield Fire Department became a municipal department last year, Ridgefield dropped the town of Germantown. Germantown went out for bid again. We used the same formula from 1990 that was originally used when the Germantown Volunteer Fire Company dissolved. They said no, and ultimately now the town of Germantown is protected by the Jackson Fire Department. And this has been going on throughout the county now since that time. And ultimately, all the departments keep losing and losing and losing because they're getting outbid. Part of the reason why you're seeing the $177,000 a year grant from the county is directly related to these departments losing money. And that was given out as a way to say, okay, we understand that maybe you guys can't cover this as well anymore because you don't have the staff, you don't have the people. We're going to give $177,000 to every department. That's in case you have to go and cover someone else's area for the time being. Fast forward a little bit, the county commissioned a study to try and solve the EMS issues in the county. And the recommendations and the resolution that you're seeing are a direct result of what that consultant had brought up to the, I believe, chief elected officials who were working with that consultant. From the results of that, we've broken into different groups and have gotten to what Administrator Krecklow presented today, which is the resolution. The money aspect still has not been flushed out, and they're still collecting data on how all of this should work. The chiefs have been presented a few different models. None of them yet have been satisfactory to anybody, so it's still a work in progress.
Okay, I just have a couple questions, and you might not know the answer if the financial stuff isn't worked out. But my understanding is the county can levy more taxes to help fund this than we could.
So under Act 12 and the change to Wisconsin Statute 66, counties that establish countywide EMS systems, that portion of their levy is not subject to levy limits. So one of the challenges, and we've talked about this a number of times during our budget discussions, as well as this year, as well as in previous years, So if a countywide EMS system is established, the county would be able to increase funding for EMS systems at the municipal level to a greater extent that we do than we can. Likely, this would involve some sort of a longer term intergovernmental agreement that would establish like what would that look like. So if the village, let's say that there's $1 million that we levy every year for the fire department, it's more than that, but just to use a rough number, our levy would go down by $1 million. The county's levy would go up by $1 million. The county would be able to grow or increase that levy as needed to a greater extent than we could in the future. And there would be a long-term agreement that would establish what that was. Maybe it would be, just to use an example, in the Mequon, Thiensville area, the southern Ozaki, I believe their agreement is for CPI plus 2%. So it would likely be some sort of a formula that would be set up on how much money each municipality would get back to support these operations.
So if we do this, there would still be tax money for village residents and businesses to fund public safety fire. It's not going to go away if we go to a county system, which I think some people think might happen.
Correct. It would go off of the Village of Germantown's portion of the property tax bill and onto the counties. The other thing that I would add to that, though, is because the county has sales tax, and sales tax tends to grow over time more than property tax levy does. They may not need to use the property tax levy for all of the funding that goes back to the municipalities. So it is possible. There's no guarantees, but it is possible that over like a 10-year period of time, there might be a savings there for residents.
But the Village of Germantown, we would still be paying for fire. It wouldn't completely go away.
Correct. We would receive money from the county, and then we would use that money to pay for fire services. But potentially, and again, there's not a draft that I can refer to, but potentially the entire amount of the property tax levy that we use for our fire department could come off of our property tax bill and be shifted to the county.
Okay. Trustee Pieper, did you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Okay. Any other questions? Anything else to add? All right.
So just to clarify, we're voting on a motion to table this.
No need to. There's
No,
no.
it was just-
action required.
Yeah, it was just a discussion
okay.
item.
All right, so no more motions.
All right, so at the beginning, your motion was to move reports to the end, and then we could move them to next month if the meeting ran long, correct? Trustee Pieper?
Correct.
Okay. We are over our meeting time, so we will hold the reports and the chiefs can update the reports next month. And we will adjourn this meeting at 7:05. Give us a couple minutes to get reset before the village board meeting starts.
Thank you, Meg.